Yes, Purvi, go ahead.
Om Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryanta Vande Guru Paramparam. Hari Om.
Hari Om. So, salutations to our Guru Swami Paramarthananda ji and the lineage which he followed, Adi Shankaracharya's teaching, Swayam Shiva in the form of Dakshinamurti. So, this lineage we are saluting for before every class. Then our
Sir,
direct
can I
Guru,
take this mantra?
I think then Tanush is going to
Sir,
chant
can
today.
I chant?
Daivik
I will
and
do it.
Daivik will get next time chance, and I think another person is Darshil next time. Okay,
Okay, sir.
Tanush, go ahead.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Sakshat, Gurur Devo, Maheshwaraha. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Very good. So salutations to all
Sir,
our
I
Gurus.
am to chant, sir.
Who is that? I can't.
Pratyush.
Okay, Pratyush, you also chant.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Good, Pratyush, good. With that, as I said before, every week we will try to take discipline through Bhagavad Gita. Today is Aditi Divakar. She is our one of the most sincere and she is following these classes from almost 3 years. So let us listen to her and understand what disciplines are being taught in Bhagavad Gita and how she has taken it in her own way. Over to you, Aditi.
Hari Om, Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Bhagavad Gita is a holy scripture which teaches us countless values and life lessons. It implements discipline in one's life. Krishna teaches Arjuna these values and implements discipline. Here, we the students are Arjunas. Each and every verse in the Gita teaches us unlimited values and methodologies to lead a disciplined life, which is a prerequisite to attain moksha. But what is moksha? Moksha is getting rid of all the coverings which causes mental disturbances called samsara. We need a disciplined life to remove this covering as anatma, which is the body and mind. And Bhagavad Gita offers this discipline. Next slide. Focus on duty, dharma. The first and the most very important discipline we learn from Bhagavad Gita is to be dharmic and follow our duties. Self-discipline and self-control. The Bhagavad Gita urges us to cultivate self-discipline and control over our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Detachment from distractions. In the Gita, Krishna advises detachment from worldly distractions and focusing on the ultimate goal, moksha or liberation. Seek knowledge. Bhagavad Gita encourages seeking knowledge from the Guru. We should humbly approach our gurus, clarify our doubts, and remain open to learning. And lastly, surrender to devotion. This approach can reduce anxiety and foster a sense of purpose in our disciplined efforts. Next slide.
So, may I interrupt here? So what is the dharma of a student or you? What is the dharma? What do you understand? Can you explain to the children a little bit more?
For me, I think my duties as a 12-year-old is to focus on my studies now. Because as a child, I think our duties is to focus on our studies and our extracurriculars equally. So and put that first always.
Fantastic. So you
Brilliant
already
answer.
said you already said that Arjuna, we are all Arjunas, and you have seen in the first chapter, Arjuna was confused. And
Yes.
whenever we have confusion, we go to our Krishna. The first Krishna you meet is your mother or father, and then the teachers, and then the friends. So our duty, as you correctly said, that it is studies. Anyone has studies and extracurricular also. Anyone has any other thoughts about this? Anyone? Sharo, Swastik, what dharma you understood as a child? What is the dharma?
Yes, sir. So, can I add a point?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, for the children, as the children of our parents, it is also a dharma to serve them.
Exactly. And what is the best way of service to the parents is to listen to them, is to understand that they have more experience than you children, right? They have seen many more, many more years they have experienced than you. And if you can serve them by listening to them, because no parents want their children to grow in a wrong way. They want their child to be the best. So they will always try to tell you. Sometimes they will tell little firmly that time you don't like as a teenager, or when you are a little bit on yourself, you don't like it, or you don't, it is not palatable. But mostly our family, our near ones, especially parents, they really would like to, if the child listens to them. That is the best service you can give, Raghav. Very good point. I will interrupt little bit because this is a very important slide you have, right? Now, what self-discipline and self-control did you have or learn from, and what is seen in your day-to-day life? You can give some example.
Okay, so I think nowadays children they don't have self-control. Like for example, if you take an example of, for example, a 10-year-old or a teenager, they don't have self-control over themselves. As for example, for you you tell they keep like procrastinating, like I'll watch the phone for 10 minutes, and then that will go to 15 and then 20, and it will become like more than an hour. So that is the control is not there, and self-discipline, like the basic I think self-hygiene, discipline, the basic
Like basic means getting up before sunrise. How many
yeah.
of us do that? That first discipline is to use 24 hours to the maximum, which everyone has equal. You know why some people are so good, they are doing so good, or they are very progressive, because they are utilizing their time duration in the 24 hours correctly. They go for 8 hours school, and the remaining 8 hours they do overall activity, not just homework, but they also play well, and maybe 6 to 8 hours they sleep, they take rest. If you do this basic self discipline also as a child, you will be progressive, you will be one of the toppers in the class and even in the extracurricular activities. Now with this self control and self discipline, detachment from distraction is automatically with you. What do you say, Aditi? If you as you said correctly, if you're watching 10 minutes but your control goes out, you watch 15 minutes screen time, and sometimes 1 hour. I have seen children just, they lose the time, they don't know what time is gone by. And that's where, if self control, self discipline is there, distraction, for all the distraction which is available nowadays, especially today's distraction is playing video games. I think in my times, and Vishwanath sir also will agree, we hardly had screen. There was no word like called screen time. The only screen time we had is on Sunday, 1 hour of a cartoon, which will be very simple cartoon. But nowadays, cartoon channel is 24/7. Am I right, Pratyush, or the younger ones?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And
You're
your
right.
mother has to tell you, please switch off that. Please switch off. It is 24 hours. But our mothers has to tell us, don't play so much. Come in the home, because we were always playing. So our time, the distraction was different, but at least we had this, we will play and our body will grow well. But nowadays, sitting in front of the TV for a long time, losing the self-control and getting distracted is a very common phenomenon. And mind you, children, I am from a medical background. There are hospitals coming up for keeping these kids who are distracted completely, so that they require taking away from the family and being in that environment where there is no gadgets, such things are cropping up. So be aware that if you do this, one day we should not land up in such type of, it is not a psychiatric hospital, but it is like detoxification or de-screening yourself. So be aware of such things are happening. There are many hospitals growing up
Just
for
to
this. Yeah.
So just to say two-liner, in fact, I'll share a beautiful video. Our generation used to be called as outdoor generation. Today
Yes.
generation is called indoor generation. Okay.
Yes.
Indoor generation has a lot of problem because they are deprived of sunlight, they are deprived of fresh air, they're always in the conditioned air, there are skin issues, etc., etc. There is a short video I will share with you. Maybe you need to share with all the children
Yes, I will share
because
it, sir.
there are extraordinary children. You people have realized it so well, and so proud of all of you.
Yes.
I'll share that soon.
Yes, yes. So thank you, sir. Aditi, now the last two, seek knowledge. You said seeking the knowledge is freedom, right? But how do you explain this moksha to younger ones? So way they will understand.
Okay, so moksha is nothing but um, getting rid of all these mental disturbances, like uh, the coverings. So these mental disturbances are called samsara, and getting rid of this samsara is called moksha. Basically, liberating yourself.
So I will make it simple. I give example of an ice cream parlor. When you go, you have a birthday to celebrate, or you have some occasion, you go, and your father or mother gets you a nice cone of big ice cream, maybe 2 or 3 scoops. Then you eat that happily and you finish it. But sometimes when you, before finishing it, you see someone else taking something else in that parlor, or maybe that flavor you want. So this is how the desire starts. With desires, attachment starts. Your mind started thinking about the other ice cream than what you have in the hand. And then if you don't get it, you start all tantrums, you throw all the tantrums there itself. And the whole scene becomes very obviously very bad. That becomes a samsara. That becomes a suffering. So the knowledge which you get from Bhagavad Gita is, it will not be evident immediately, but as you grow children, you will be insulated with this knowledge, so that whenever there is something happening like this with you, you will understand, no, I should enjoy with what I have rather than what I see and what my desires take me away. So that knowledge is actually liberation. And I think for small kids, you can see they are very happy with whatever they have. They are enjoying themselves. As we grow little bit older, mature, then these distractions are more. Am I right, Aditi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And surrendering with devotion, what do you do for it? What do you really do?
Surrendering with devotion is having regular practice of offering, worshipping the God, being, ritualistic, following dharma.
Right.
Yeah.
And the most nice example what last time Nayana gave is, she has surrendered to Krishna so much that wherever she goes, even if someone is shouting in her class, she sees Krishna in that person, so that she doesn't get angry. It's a very, very nice way of seeing or surrendering to Krishna. Because if you start seeing Krishna everywhere, you will not get irritated at all, right? If someone is shouting, let them shout. It is not to me that someone else he is shouting, he or she is shouting. And as you said rightly, if you do your regular religious things, lighting a simple lamp and sitting there and praying to God, remembering the God which is there in every one of you, not just in the idol, it is devotion, it is surrendering to devotion. With that, I think we have understood the disciplines. Now we go to the specific verses from her.
Okay. So here are a few verses which stresses on discipline. First one, 6.16. This verse highlights the importance of self-control in daily habits like eating, sleeping. and etc. Maintaining a balanced lifestyle helps cultivating discipline and focus. Next one, 6.35. The Lord answers, O Arjuna, undoubtedly the mind is fickle and difficult to restrain. However, it can be restrained through detachment and practice. So this verse encourages us to practice discipline constantly, while controlling the mind might seem difficult. With persistent effort and detachment from distractions, it can be achieved. 2.67. That mind which follows the wandering sense organs carries away the wisdom of that person, just like the wind carries away the boat on the waters. In this verse, Krishna advises us to be diligent in our studies and be cautious of distractions that can carry away our focus and intelligence. 2.58. Krishna says, moreover, when he completely withdraws the sense organs from the sense objects, just as a tortoise withdraws its limbs, then his knowledge becomes firm. This verse emphasizes the need to have control over our senses. A disciplined student knows when to withdraw from distractions and external stimuli to focus on learning and self improvement. 18.41. It highlights the importance of understanding one's own nature and dedicating oneself to their chosen path with discipline and devotion. Lastly, 2.47. You have a choice over action alone, never over results. May you not be motivated by the results of action. May you not be inclination towards inaction.
Inaction.
In this verse, Krishna tells us to focus on our efforts and actions without worrying excessively about the outcomes. Maintaining discipline and performing duties with dedication brings success in a long run. Next slide. Conclusion. Ultimately, a disciplined life is nothing but being sincere in our duties and not expecting the outcomes. Therefore, leading a disciplined life is nothing but following karma. Hari Om, thank you.
Excellent, Aditi. And one important thing I have to tell every one of you, see, Aditi had exams, but she never said, I won't do it. She could make time. She managed to read so much from Bhagavad Gita, and she is explained in her own words. I think Aditi has done her own homework, and next time I will allot someone else. If someone wants to speak their own experiences, this is the forum, this is the place where you can share your experiences through the understanding of Bhagavad Gita. This is open to each one of you, but you have to, once you have taken that, I will do it, you please have to do it like what Aditi has done, so that we have a discussion. Next time, I have already allotted someone, but after that, I would like volunteers to come forward and ask me. So we go to the next, today's class. We all have learned meditation is not going to give us some powers. It is only a preparative stage for spiritual knowledge, to gain spiritual knowledge. And we have seen as meditation just is the...
180,
Yeah.
120.
Can I request Nikhil, what is this, to mute? Yeah. So just as before planting the seeds, the farmer first cultivates the land. He first plows the land, make it ready for the growth of the plants. Same way, meditation makes our spiritual knowledge, it enhances if you do that meditation. Meditation doesn't give any special powers. We have learned it 8 steps, and last time Swastik very nicely explained how to sit in meditation. First, you have to do prana, then indriya, means the 5 sense organs to be controlled, then mana inside. Finally, use your buddhi to concentrate only on Lord. Here is Krishna, but whatever God you like. Once you do that, then the real samadhi or real understanding of yourself, that yogi within you will be there. Vishnu had already explained about the vision of seeing God. Just as we have a goggle for seeing 3D, same way, once you understand through this meditation, God gives you a vision where you can see God within each one of you and every being and non-living being. That vision the yogi will get. And Arjuna starts questions from this verse. He says, my mind is so fickle. Whenever I start meditating, the negative thoughts only surfaces, like the wind is blowing around and taking my thoughts here and there. And we have also seen, first, if you don't control the tornado, that is nothing but a very heavy gush of wind, swirling wind. If you don't control in the initial stage, our thoughts also like that. If we don't control them initially, it will become a huge tornado, which makes destruction. It spoils our relations. It spoils everything what we have made. So again, the same thing he's again and again asking to Krishna, how to control this mind. Utsav also explained it is very difficult, but with restraint through detachment and practice. As it is difficult to study some subject, but regular practice, sitting and writing, doing this classwork, homework correctly, asking doubts and clarifying it from the teachers or parents, you will one day achieve it. Same way, this mind can be controlled by regular practice and restrained. Okay, you don't leave that mind, leash out the mind like the dog which is taking the master away. Raghav, did you do this verse? No. Raghav, Varshne?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm here.
You are there, right? I think we have done this verse last time, right?
No, sir.
No.
Sir, I have to do this.
Okay. Ma'am, over to you. Ma'am is there?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Asamyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me matihi vashyatmana tu yatata shakyo vaptumupayataha asamyatatmana yogo
Asamyatatmana yogo.
Asamyatatmana yogo
Asamyatatmana yogo.
dushprapa iti me matihi
Dushprapa iti me matihi
vashyatmana tu yatata
vashyatmana tu yatata
shakyo vaptumupayataha.
shakyo vaptumupayataha.
Very good. So let us all chant together. Asamyatatmana yogo
Asamyatatmana yogo.
dushprapa iti me matihi
Dushprapa iti me matihi
vashyatmana tu yatata
vashyatmana tu yatata
shakyo vaptumupayataha.
shakyo vaptumupayataha.
Okay, all of you mute. Let Raghav explain this.
Dhyana, sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, have you added the PPT that I sent you?
Yeah, this is the PPT, right?
Oh, yes, yes.
Ah,
Sir, no problem.
this one, right?
Yes, sir. So next, sir. So the translation of the verse is, yoga is difficult to attain for one whose mind is unbridled. However, those who have learned to control their mind and who strive earnestly by proper means can attain perfection in yoga. This is my opinion, said by Lord Sri Krishna. So next slide. Meaning of the verse. The state of yoga or self-realization or moksha or mukti is difficult for a person to attain whose mind is uncontrolled, extremist or untrained, whereas who have controlled and trained their mind can attain a state of self-realization or yoga. This verse also describes a yogi, a person who can control his or her mind. As shown in the pyramid, it has a pyramid of needs. Like first, there are physiological needs like food, water, and all. And then our safety needs, we have to be secure in a place like we want house, clothes, and we want security in our country, like democracy. We want democracy. Society dictatorial rule cannot shower upon us. And next pyramid of next is belongingness and love needs. Like we want care from others, and we expect that if we are loving someone, caring for some other person, then we expect love and care also. Then it is our esteem or ego needs. Then is self-actualization. So the self-realization or mukti is the highest need. So when a yogi attains that, he or she does not desires to have anything more. So next slide. So explanation of the verse with examples. Lord Krishna tells us that the mind is very difficult to control and can only be controlled by abhyas or practice, vairagya or removal of desire. By practicing these four things, one can only attain self-realization or reach to the Supreme or Krishna. So we have the example of Prahlada, he was a true yogi. He controlled his mind again and again, despite of all the efforts done by his father to make it devoted to himself instead of Vishnu. But his father, but his father got defeated. Example of a non-yogi is Kansa. He again and again, without controlling his mind, killed 7 infants, sons of Devaki, without thinking that he must be bearing the consequences at the last, and got killed by Krishna. Dhanyavadam. Hari Om.
Hari Om explained very well, very nicely with these two examples, who is a yogi and who is not a yogi also. The yogi we understood, who is disciplined, self-restrained, but the not yogi is like Kamsa. He goes on doing that vad, not once, twice, many times. And finally what happens? He himself gets killed. So controlling this fickle mind is difficult, children. Just difficult as for a small ant to cross even a small twig of leaves. But with constant practice, it's called abhyasa, in Sanskrit abhyasa, or take help, like these small ants come together and forms a bridge. If there is problem, if there is you don't find a solution, take help from your teachers or your parents or elderly people. Bridge that gap, bridge that problem of impossibility, and then with practice you will cross over this difficult thing of how to control the mind, because mind is fickle, not only yours but everyone. It is a fickle mind. That's why we have to come out of restrain the mind. So practice abhyasa. Also, there is something called as vairagya. These two things has been explained in this verse. The vairagya means what? When you are small child, you don't know, you like everything which is for playing. But now, if you start carrying this, like this child, she's making this kitchen set, very beautiful. But she starts going on playing this. If she's getting older also, mature also, then she is not going to understand what is, the mind will be not controlled. She should start giving up this to her younger ones, or she should give it to someone who is in need at that age. Vairagya has to be practiced. Not only elders should practice, but even younger people can practice. Give it out, leave that thing from attachment from you. So two things, restraining yourself and detaching yourself from things which are creating this mind trouble. Pratish, you have raised hand. Pratish, you have something to say?
Yeah,
Yes.
sir, I already have the Bhagavad Gita book, sir.
Very good, Pratyush. Please try and read from it, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So we know that the mind is very chanchala, fickle, but it can be controlled. Okay. When you see the puzzles, initially it is very difficult to solve, but once slowly you train yourself and match it, you can make different possibilities from it. So Vairagya is to be followed. Now, with that, we come to how to focus the mind. One story about it. Raghav Balaji will explain this story. Over to you, Raghav.
Thank you, sir. Namaste all. Namaste all. Today I will be telling the topic the eye of the bird. The eye of the bird. One day when Dronacharya was teaching archery to his students, he once asked them to shoot a bird on the tree by aiming its eye. He called them one by one and showing the bird. He asked them what they saw. Everyone except Arjuna said that they saw the tree, branches, the bird, etc. And so everyone missed the target. Arjuna had been practicing archery day and night and was the best archer among the students of Dronacharya. So when Arjuna's turn came, Drona inquired him as follows. Drona asked, "What do you see?" Arjuna said, I see an eye of the bird. Drona asked, "Do you see the tree?" Arjuna replied, "No." Drona asked again, "Do you see the branch?" Arjuna said, "No." Drona asked, "Do you see the bird?" Arjuna replied, "No." Drona finally asked, "Then what else do you see, Arjuna?" Arjuna said, "Nothing." Saying so, Arjuna released the arrow and it just hit the target straight. This story tells about the importance of an attentive mind. We must only see our target. Focus on your goal without distraction. Focus leads to success. Unless we focus, we cannot achieve our goal. It is hard to focus and concentrate, but it's a skill that can be learned. Thus, who is completely absorbed into loving devotion's service to Sri Krishna, then we no longer pay attention to the material illusion. Hari Om.
Very nicely you have explained, Raghav. So, do you practice this focus, Raghav, anytime, like for your studies or something? Are you doing it?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. So generally, I have seen some kids, they will focus on the TV so much. If mother is saying, did you finish your lunch? Can you see the food? He will say no. Can you see that books are lying down here and there? He will say no. Then she will say, what do you see? Only television. That is also a type of focus that nowadays kids are following. But we should have a focus on the right thing. So children, the moral of the story is you focus on your target. The target or the goal for the children is studies or practicing whatever like taekwondo, judo, bharatanatyam, singing, whatever extracurricular activities you have. That time you should be focused on that. Okay. With that, thank you, Raghav, very much. We move to verse number 37. Rishikesh.
हरि ओम् अर्जुन उवाच अयति श्रद्धयोपेतः योगाच्चलति मानसः अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति अर्जुन उवाच
अर्जुन उवाच
अयति श्रद्धयोपेतः
अयति श्रद्धयोपेतः
योगाच्चलति मानसः
योगाच्चलति मानसः
अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं
अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिम्
कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति
कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति
वेरी गुड अर्जुन उवाच
Arjuna uvacha
अर्जुन उवाच
अयति श्रद्धयोपेतः
ayati shraddhayopeतः
योगाच्चलितमानसः
योगाचलितमानसः
अप्राप्य
अप्राप्य
योगसंसिद्धिं
योगसंसिद्धिम्
तां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति
गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति. Thank you, ma'am. Rishikesh, over to you.
Yes, sir.
You are ready?
Sir,
Yeah, over to you.
sir, the slides. Yes, sir.
Which one? This one?
Yes, sir. Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna said, Ayate lacks Shraddhaya with faith, Upeta possessed Yogat from Yog, Chalita Manasa. Sir, that's
Which one?
the before one. Yes, sir. Chalita Manasa, whose mind becomes deviated, apatya, failing to attain yoga samsiddhim, the highest perfection in yoga, kama, which gatim, destination, Krishna, Sri Krishna, gachati, goes. The translation of the verse is, next slide. Arjuna said,
Not able to hear you.
Sir, now am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Arjuna said, what is the fate of the unsuccessful yogi who begins the path with faith but who does not endeavor sufficiently due to an unsteady mind and is unable to reach the goal of yoga in this life? The meaning of this verse is, sir, next slide. The meaning of this verse is that Arjuna asked Sri Krishna, sir,
This is your only slides. I'm
sir,
showing
yes,
you.
sir, next slide.
This is the next slide.
Yes, sir. The journey toward God realization begins with Shraddha, faith. Many sincere souls develop faith in the divine knowledge of the scriptures by virtue of the sanskars of their past lives, or association of saints, or reversals in the world, etc. There can be many reasons that create the Shraddha required to begin the journey. However, if these aspirants or yogis do not put in the necessary effort and become ayati, then the mind remains chalit, restless. Such aspirants are not able to complete the journey in this life. Hence, Arjuna inquires about the fate of such sadhaks who do not complete the journey, who do not complete the whole journey. Thank you, sir.
Hari Om. There was slight disturbance in your voice, but you did well. You have asked Arjuna's second question. And that second question is very important, children. It is telling about yoga brashta. Okay, this is an important terminology. Yoga brashta. A person who has been incomplete in his effort, not because of his lack of faith in God, There is faith, sincerity is there, but because of some obstacle that came in the end, and he could not pass that hurdle, he could not get freedom or moksha. Generally, there are three obstacles which we all have: Adhyatmik, that is at the personal level, our understanding level; Adi Bhautik, that is around you. For example, suddenly if the internet goes away, it's not in your hand, or the light is switched off, you cannot have electricity at home, you cannot communicate in this class. That is Adi Bhautik, surrounding. Or Adi Daivik, extremely difficult to control, no one's hand. There can be a tsunami, there can be a volcano, there can be earthquake, anything which is completely not in human's hand. So these three obstacles, one of these obstacles, the Yoga Brashta could not cross, and he has to take one more Janma. Remember, children, we are all that Yoga Brashtas in last Janma. But God has given us again one new beginning. All of you are so young. Sometimes we always wonder how these kids are coming to this class. This is because Krishna will tell in the further verses that I will make sure that Krishna will make sure those who are doing so nicely in the last Janma, definitely in the next Janma, they will get parents who will give them all that required to learn again. And you will not start from zero. You all are Yoga Brashta. You have already known so many things in the last Janma. From this Janma, you are in the highway, runway, and your flight is going to take off like you are going to get the moksha. So that is what is mentioned. We will see in 38th verse what more Arjuna has to ask. Go ahead, madam, over to you.
Yeah. कच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टः छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढो ब्रह्मणः पथि कच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टः
कच्छिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टः
विभ्रष्टः छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो अप्रतिष्ठो महाप्राण रेड लेटर अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो
बाहो
विमूढो ब्रह्मणः पथि Very good. So let us all chant together. Kachinno bhaya vibhrashtah
Bhaya
छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढो ब्रह्मणः पथि
Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, Vinayak, your presentation.
Hari Om everyone. I am Vinayak and today I will be explain 6.38 verse. The explanation is follow. Arjuna further elaborates upon his question to Sri Krishna with regard to the promise of meditation. Arjuna wanted Sri Krishna to tell him whether some
One who follows the spiritual path but is not able to attain fulfillment ends up in a similar situation. Arjuna uses the analogy of a cloud, and neither provides rain nor does it vanish. This in-between situation makes it an easy target for wind to scatter the cloud from one place to another. If we were to frame this as an economic problem, Arjuna is speaking about opportunity cost, which is the loss incurred in one activity by spending time in another activity. Instead, seekers is upaya vibrashtata, or unsuccessful from both sides. One side is apratishto, or lack of worldly glory, and other side is vimodo brahmana pati, or distracted in progress on the spiritual path. Arjuna, the pragmatic soldier, does not want to get into such a comparison position. The desire to attain success is natural to the jiva. It comes from being a part of God, who is all perfect, and hence the soul too wishes to be perfect and successful like its source God. The success can be attained in two realms, material and spiritual. Those who consider the world to be source of happiness strive for material advancement, and those who consider spiritual will to be the real treasure worthy of processing strive for it by rejecting material and world. However, such spiritualists fail in the attempt. They are apparently left with neither spiritual nor material assets. Thinking in the manner, Arjuna asked whether their position is like that of a broken cloud. A cloud which breaks away from the group of clouds becomes worthless. It is neither of a sufficient shade nor does it increase its weight and become rain-bearing. It merely blows in the wind and perishes like a non-entity entity in the sky. Arjuna asks whether the unsuccessful yogi suffers a similar fate with no position in any sphere. Thank you.
Excellent, Vinayak. Vinayak is in what, second standard?
Sir, fourth.
Fourth. And thank you to your sister also, Nithila. She is also preparing slides for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good way of explaining and good chanting. So
Thank you,
what we
sir.
learn from this is you should be focused like a yogi. And Arjuna is actually asking this because he is not sure whether he is going to fight or not. Still, he is in the sixth chapter. You know, there are 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita. So he's asking the question of all of us. Whether I am going to get liberated or not is the question of Arjuna. And what happens if I don't get liberated in this Janma? Children, we are all very sure. Krishna's answer is very clear. Even if you learn one verse of Bhagavad Gita, you will get Swarga. At least this is sure for you. This is 100% guaranteed. Heaven is sure. But to get liberated, you have to practice each time that God is none other than within you. And when you are the master, how you will behave in this world. So that is what is the learning. So that will come in the next few verses. Aloki will chant the verse with ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण छेतुमर्हस्य शेषतः त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य चेतानह्युपपद्यते एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण
एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण
छेतुमर्हस्य शेषतः
छेतुम् अर्हस्य शेषतः
No, it is not chetum arhasya. Chetumarhasya sheshataha. That is chetum arhasi asheshataha. If you want to split while explaining the meaning. So while chanting, don't split. Chetumarhasya sheshataha.
छेतुम् अर्हस्य शेषतः
Chetumarhasya sheshataha.
छेतुम् अर्हस्य शेषतः
Arhasya sheshataha.
अर्हस्य शेषतः
Very good. Tvadanya samshayasya.
वदन्न संशस्य सस्य
Okay, let me teach you. Tvadanyas
त्वदन्यस्
samshayasya.
संशयस्यास्य
Samshayasya.
संशयस्यास्य
Samshayasyasya. There is no dot on yes, no? There is no dot above or below. Samshayasyasya.
संशयस्यास्य
Yasyasya.
यस्यास्य
Yasya.
यस्य
Yasyasya.
यस्यास्य
Very good. Tvadanyas samshayasya.
वदन्न संशयसस्यास्य
Samshayasya.
संशयस्यास्य
Chetana
ते चेतान
hyupapadyate.
युपपद्यते
Okay, let us all chant together.
Yes.
Etanme samshayam krishna.
Etanme samshayam Krishna.
Chetumarhasya sheshataha.
Chetumarhasya sheshataha.
चेतसः
Tvadanyas samshayasyasya.
Samshayasya.
Tvadanyas samshayasya.
Vadanyam samshayasya.
Chetana
Chetana.
Chetana
Chetana.
hyupapadyate.
Yupapadyate.
Chetana hyupapadyate.
Chetana yupapadyate.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam. Over to you, Aloki.
Namaste all. Today I will explain the verse meaning of 6.39. We have heard the questions Arjun was curious to ask in the earlier verses. He is again curious to ask questions in this verse. This doubt of mine, O Krishna, please disable completely, because it is not possible for anyone but you to disable this doubt. And why am I asking you? Because there cannot be any person other than you who can destroy this doubt. There cannot be any person. Arjun says so because this person will spiritually fall or not can be determined only in the next janma, whether he will go to Swarg or whether he will get moksha, or whether he will miss both of them and go to lower janma. These
These are all questions of afterbirth and what will happen to us in the next Janma. We don't know why, even in this Janma, we don't know what will happen next year or tomorrow itself. So Bhagwan alone is karma phala data. Therefore, he alone is fit to enough to answer this question. And therefore, what type of janma such a person will get later. And therefore, you should answer. So, thus, in earlier three verses, Arjuna, Semite questions have given been given. Now Krishna is going to give an optimist answer in next verses. Thank you, Hari Om.
So thank you very much, Aloki, for taking this verse at the last moment. Nicely presented. So we have seen there are three questions Arjuna is asking as a curious student, and Krishna will start answering this in the next few verses. Children, the question is very simple. I am going to go for exams. Am I going to pass? If I am not going to pass, what will happen to me? That is the question what he is trying to ask. So this question about Krishna is going to answer. Let us see in the next verses. Sharav, madam, over to you, madam.
Yeah. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Parthanaiveha namutra Vinashastasya vidyate Nahi kalyana krut kaschita Durgatim tata gacchati. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
पार्थनैवेह नामुत्र
पार्थनैवेह नामुत्र
विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते
विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते
न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित्
न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित्
दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति
दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति
Okay, let us all chant together now. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
पार्थनैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित्
न हि कल्याणकश्चित्
न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित्
न हि कल्याणकृत्
दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति तात गच्छति
Yes. Thank you, madam. Over to you, Sharav.
Yes. Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain about chapter 6, verse 14. I hope you like it. In this verse, Krishna answers Arjuna's question and says that for a good man like him, who has devotion to the Lord, evil can never befall upon him, and his life will always remain happy. So if one cannot continue and sustain his bhakti toward the Lord, at least try to be stable and not get distracted from the worldly objects of desire, can lead a happy life. Next lesson. Same way, if we study hard as much as we can with passion and dedication, nothing can stop you from reaching your goal in life.
I would also like to share a little of the meaning that I've read from Swami Paramathanandaji's book. My real understanding of this verse is that from Swami Paramathanandaji's book, I've referred and understood that what to say, if you cannot continue one bhakti, if it's not stable, you will at least gain jnana. And if you cannot gain jnana, you will at least say by listening to the Vedas or the Bhagavad Gita, you are immediately gaining punya. And if you understand it somehow, you will gain jnana. So, by just listening to the Bhagavad Gita, you will attain Swarga. And if you understand it fully, you will go to get moksha.
Yes, excellent, Charo. And thanks once again. You have taken someone else's verse at the nth moment, and you did it very well. So, children, this is very important. And with this, we end today. See, children, if you at least can join, at least listen for 1 hour of Bhagavad Gita, one thing is very sure: good marks in the exams, you will be top whatever you take in the future career. That means you will achieve Swarga. You will get Swarga as your benefit, immediate benefit. And if you continuously practice it, the discipline which Aditi explained today, can we practice that? If you practice that, you will get even more than Swarga, that is liberation, freedom. With that, I will end the class today because it is 9:15. Om
Sir, can I,
Purnamada Purnamir. You want to do this, Purvik?
sir,
You want
can
to
I
chant?
chant that?
Yeah,
Can
please
I
chant.
chant
Chant, chant, chant.
पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमदं पूर्णमदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यति ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम सर
Hari Om.